Hello everyone, this is Plane to 777 with another review of Korean Air, but this time from Seoul to Bangkok on the business class product on the Korean Air 777. And after spending a really nice week, basically just vacationing in Seoul, it is time for us to head back. And so here we are in the Terminal 2, the very new part of Incheon Airport. And as someone who is flying the business class product, we actually had access to the Korean Air Premium Check-in, which is located on the far right side of Terminal 2 at Incheon Airport, which is nice to have, especially as an exclusive check-in area. As you can see, they have Sky Priority Access, and it is known as the Prestige Class. This is sort of the private area that you get, including a first-class check-in lounge behind at the back over there. Now that check-in is done, it is time for us to head to our gate. Now, I was initially thinking that we were going to fly the same old business class product, but our seats were actually changed on the ticket. So, I'm assuming that there's a nice little surprise awaiting us. Now, it is time for us to check out some of the lounges here at Incheon. But first of all, let's go check out this lounge here, the Matina Lounge, which we have access through our priority pass. We decided to have a visit here first before we went to the Korean Air Lounge. Now with this Matina Lounge, it is quite spacious, very clean, very well detailed, and I think there's a lot of great seating options as well. And I would also recommend this lounge if you happen to have priority pass. They also have nice little robots, basically walking around with trays. This is sort of the dining area of the lounge with a very nice amount of selections, and this is what I got. The food was actually quite good. It had a good variety, the drinks were great, and I would overall definitely recommend this lounge if the Korean Air Lounge is too full. Here is the KAL Lounge Prestige Class, which is located on the upper floor. And as you can see here, it is quite a spacious lounge as well. Although I will say though, it is packed. It was so packed that it was actually quite difficult to find seating. Now I will say that there is also equally as nice buffet section with an equal amount of good food. Although given the circumstances that I had already eaten before, I decided not to eat too much. I will say though, this view of the terminal right outside this lounge is quite nice. Now it is time for us to head over to our gate, featuring some nice architecture and of course our very own Korean Air 777-300. Now, like I said before, I did kind of expect the older seat going into this flight, but for now, let's just enjoy the view. Here we are at gate 247 with a bit of a crowded area. As you can see, this flight is probably quite full, which would typically seem like a bad omen if I were to go into the plane with the older seats. But now it is time for us to board, featuring our Sky Priority line here. And now it's time for us to head on into the gate with our nice little Delta A350-900 to our right side. One thing about Incheon's gates is that they all feature an escalator in every gate when you go down, which is a rather unique feature that I haven't seen in a lot of other airports. And now let's head on into the business class gate, as you can see here. Now, as I have mentioned many times before, I went into this flight expecting the old seat. But when we got in, expect my surprise when I found out that we had the newer Apex Suite seats, and I was just so happy when we got these seats, as they were quite unexpected. With the Apex Suites, you feature a 2-2-2 configuration with a lot of privacy and direct aisle access. You get a lot of legroom, of course, and actual privacy between you and your seatmate. Not that it was needed in this case, of course. Here's what the seat sort of looks like in this entrance, and this is the view to your side on your left. A bottle of water was provided as well, and here are the seat controls. They are quite intuitive, as well as a remote for the IFE, retractable like this. The seat exudes a lot of new qualities as well. Here's a bit of seat storage to your left, featuring slippers, headphones, and of course the business class menu. And you can put other stuff into the seat as well, including my iPad and a bunch of other things as well. You can also stow it like this for armrest or open it up for more space. As you can see, this is how the seat is laid out. We are provided with a pillow, as well as a lot of space in between. I started off my flight, of course, with a bit of orange juice, some water, and of course with my much improved mood with the surprise of the new seats. Let's have a look at the outside window, featuring a Delta A330-900 Neo, which I would think is a very beautiful plane. There are more seat details featuring the IFE screen and a lot of legroom, of course, including a charging port to the left side if you can see it. Here's a very nice neat feature of the Apex Suites, which is that you can actually raise the privacy divider to your side if you want a little bit more privacy or you just don't want to talk to the person next to you. This would give you practically completely enclosed privacy while still allowing you access to the direct aisle featuring the opening to the front of the door. And of course, with the press of a button, you can also lower the privacy divider if you're seated next to someone you know and you want to talk to them, which of course was the case here with me. Here's how the tray table is sort of set up. You open up this big latch over here, and you press down to lift up this big and sturdy table. It is a lot better than Korean Air's previous offering if you saw my previous video, and you can swivel it like this to get yourself some access out of your seat even while you are eating. You can swivel it back like this, and it is sturdy enough for you to use your computer or anything else you might need to use, especially on longer flights. To stow it, you basically just lift it up and latch it and stow it like this. Here is what the rest of the cabin looks like, which feels quite private, especially in your own Apex suite. And of course, there is some K-pop on the Korean Air safety video, which I can actually see directly in front of me, which is quite nice and intuitive, especially when compared to my last flight. Well, it is now time for us to taxi out of our gate and prepare for takeoff, featuring a lot of SkyTeam planes, especially Korean Air and of course Delta. If you all would like, please enjoy the next few clips of just plane spotting at the taxiway. All in all, this is definitely a surprise that I would like to welcome at any other point in the future. And hopefully you might have the same thing as well when you fly a Korean Air business class product. Now please enjoy the following takeoff footage. Now that we are finally in the air and featuring this very nice cloud view, let's get straight into the meal service. The meal tray table is quickly prepared with this nice cloth. And here is our amuse, or our starter of a starter, featuring some orange juice. Just some basic scallop with some seasoning and sauce, which I thought was actually quite nice and well done. For some reason, I decided to have another look around the cabin, which, especially compared to my flight from Bangkok to Seoul, felt a lot more private, which is why I appreciate these Apex suites a lot more. Now let's head on to the actual starter, featuring some smoked salmon and a salad and a bit of bread. And of course I got myself some champagne in the meantime. And I will say this meal was quite good. In addition, I also got some extra soup as well, which for some reason wasn't offered at first but a bit later. But whatever, it's still good. Next I had the beef tenderloin, featuring some mashed potatoes and mushrooms and vegetables. Even considering flight standards, I will say the beef itself is quite well done and is quite delectable, and is certainly a dish that I would recommend if you ever find yourself on this flight. And last but not least, for dessert, we got some Haagen-Dazs ice cream, which is always welcome on a flight. In addition, I was also offered some chamomile tea, which is also quite good. Well, here is a great view of the sun setting, so it is now time for me to get a bit of shut-eye on this mid-haul flight. Here is what the lie-flat seat looks like on the Apex Suite business class product. As you can see, the seat itself is quite spacious while retaining a very high amount of privacy, especially for the window seat. The blanket provided is also quite nice as well, although I would expect a better product on longer haul flights, so this product might not be fully indicative of that. Here's what the product looks like from the lie-flat position, which as you can see is quite spacious as well. And when you lift up the privacy divider, it is basically a fully enclosed suite. You also have your storage to the side, and you can lift up this flap for extra storage and extra space while you're moving, although I didn't really need it. Soon enough, the cabin lights were dimmed, and I was actually able to get a fairly decent amount of sleep, maybe 1 to 2 hours-ish, considering that this was a medium haul flight, and that I would still be arriving at a time where I could still get some shut-eye when I arrived in Bangkok. After a great sleep, I decided to quickly visit the lavatory on the Korean Air 777, and I will say it is quite clean, quite spacious, and there are a good amount of amenities offered. No complaints here from me. Surprise, as I actually also managed to snag myself some good instant noodles on Korean Air, which seems like a secret menu item since it wasn't on there. In any case though, please enjoy the following landing footage. And there you have it. That's the Korean Air business class product on the Apex Suites from Seoul to Bangkok. It is really amazing how much a hard product can change and improve your experience, especially if you've watched my previous video on the flight from Bangkok to Seoul. And there you have it. That is the Korean Air business class product with the Apex Suites from Seoul to Bangkok. I hope you guys enjoyed what I've been able to share with you so far, as this has been quite an improvement over the trip from Bangkok to Seoul. Which is why overall I'm going to give this product an 8 out of 10, especially regarding the Apex Suite improvement. I would recommend this product for people to fly if they can find it at the right price, which is especially if it is lower compared to other mainline carriers. I think Korean Air has a very good, if possibly great product, but I think they still have a ways to go before being able to effectively compete with the likes of Singapore Airlines, Qatar Airways, and really the top tier. In any case, thank you all for watching, and this is Plane Dude 777 signing out.